What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Now, today we're going to be doing a general update and catch up on Solana, just getting an idea of what's happening with its price, some of the news, more fundamental side, and things of that nature, because it's been very bullish, and I want to share it with you today. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's catch up on Solana. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade some Solana on up to 50x leverage without needing the KYC, meaning you don't need to give them any of your personal information, without needing a VPN, you just sign up and start trading, and you're going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses as well with my Margex link down in the description below. So make sure you do go check that out if this is something that interests you. But of course, be careful with leverage. Now, today we're going to break this video down into a couple different sections. Okay, section number one is going to be talking about what's happening with its price. Section number two is going to be talking about what's happening with it from more of a fundamental perspective. And then section number three is going to be going over some news and general developments. Okay, now the very first thing, the price. Okay, Solana's in a very interesting position. Okay, Solana's not only just in an interesting position, I think it's in a very bullish position. I think something's happening right now that people aren't paying attention to, and I want to share it with you. So of course, what we know is that we have been pretty consistently just waiting for Solana's price to break out of this macro range that it's been in. I think one day we're going to break $210, and we're eventually going to leave this range that we've been in here. And what, most people would say right now is like, well, we're getting pretty close to the top side and got some resistance right above us, so nothing crazy going on right now. But I would argue that the setup that we're seeing right now for Solana is ridiculously bullish. Now, the reason why is mostly focused on what's happening at $162, this level of resistance right here. And what I'm paying attention to is the fact that no matter what Solana does right now, as long as its price does not fall back below $137, we are getting set up to make a move back up to $200. Let me explain to you why. Now, option number one, Solana just continues higher. That's the easiest option here. Option number one is Solana continues higher. In that instance, we have now, for the very, very first time in a long time, seen Solana not only establish a higher macro low, but also a higher macro high. The last times that we've done this have been the moments in which we've gotten back up to $200. Look, high, higher high, 200 and something dollars nearly. High, higher high, nearly $200, more like $190. And so in an instance like this, in which Solana can now officially clear these two previous points of resistance and break above it, setting in the higher high, especially after a higher low, the likelihood is that Solana tries to continue back up towards $190 to $200. That's still a possible move for Sol of anywhere from 18 to 25% to the upside. That's option one. Option number two, Solana starts to pull back. Like I mentioned before, in an instance in which Solana's price pulls back, as long as its price stays above $137, there's a very strong chance that we find some support and continue back to the upside. And I'm sure you recognize now what I'm paying attention to. Look at that beautiful setup for that inverse head and shoulders. If an inverse head and shoulders forms here, guys, we are in a spot in which we could easily see Solana head for the breakout zone, in which would put us above the green box, back retesting that previous high, higher around $215. That's how beautiful this move is. And that's why I'm saying, even if this thing rolls back, we're still in a spot to where if we find some support at 137 or above, we easily could be on the move towards $200 and up. Now, sure, there's the threat, there's the risk that Solana loses $137. But you know what's crazy about that? Even if its price comes back to $121, there's room in structure for a double bottom to have been formed, or a two flipped double bottom, which looks like flip, double bottom, flip. We see these every now and then from Solana as well, both of which are bullish. This structure is also bullish. We've seen it time and time again. And so because of that, because of the structure that we're seeing from Solana right now, almost no matter what its price does, it's still in the, within the boundaries of setting itself up for a move towards $200 because of this beautiful resistance and beautiful foundation it's established over the last few weeks. Absolutely bullish. Absolutely bullish. Let's move on to a little bit more. Now, all of this bullishness is happening from a technical perspective, but you know what's crazy? We're seeing bullishness from a fundamental perspective as well. What you can see here is that Solana is almost at a new yearly high in TVL. TVL is total value locked, and the easiest way that you can think about it is the amount of funds that are locked and being held in staking and locks on Solana's chain itself. Oftentimes, people do kind of correlate TVL size with safety. The higher the TVL, the more safe something is. And we have been seeing Solana's TVL really catching some momentum this year. And even while its price has been in this sideways, kind of more consolidationary channel, we have seen its TVL consistently trending upwards. much. And that has been a beautiful sign, because you know what that says? It means the ecosystem's growing, it's thriving, and it's self-sufficient and doesn't rely on Solana's price. Because prior, we saw Solana's ecosystem heavily reliant on its price. If Solana's price did good, the ecosystem did good. If its price did bad, the ecosystem did bad. But that's not what we're seeing right now. We are starting to see the divergence of its TVL from its price, and that's a great sign, because it means Solana as a blockchain and as a network and as an ecosystem can thrive without Solana's price. And that's amazing, because that opens up the door to say, well, in a moment in which Solana's price is at 300, 400 bucks, what can happen with its ecosystem? That's where things start getting crazy, because now we're talking, okay, well, can Solana get to 400 or 500 bucks, right? That's the thought process that'll lead you down. Now, speaking of the ecosystem, just from a, a sense of, how do I explain this? Like, the ecosystem where it is right now is doing extremely well, but the craziest part about it is that we're not even seeing retail back yet. If you do look at just Solana, Google Trends not really doing too much. It's higher than it was earlier this year, sure, or last year. But realistically, it's not really doing too much. We go over to sentiment. You look at Solana's social dominance throughout the course of the last year and a half, not really doing much. Sure, again, it's a little bit higher than it was, but it's not all that crazy. We're not in a moment like this or like this. We're rather low in the grand scheme of things. But Solana still, not only has its price been putting in this bullish structure, but its ecosystem is still growing, even without retail. So what happens when retail comes back? That's the thing. That's kind of the thought process I'm on right now. It's like, okay, well, Solana's price is doing well. It's getting some beautiful, beautiful structures and setups forming right now. Its TVL is growing, even though its price is still just setting itself up. What happens in a moment in which retail comes back, Solana's price starts doing well, and its ecosystem is growing all at once? That is a combination that gets you up to that $400, $500, $600 Solana, like I've been talking about since Solana was at $20. I've been saying I think Solana can hit $200, $300, $400 since Solana's at $15. Check the channel, check the history. You can fact check me on this. Go to my main channel, go fact check me, don't care. It's been insane, right? And so these are the types of things that you need to be seeing in moments like this to know that you're on the right track. And I genuinely believe we're on the right track. Now, from an ecosystemic perspective, while we are talking about it, we have started to see kind of the early startups recently of Solana's ecosystem catching momentum, right? You're starting to see some of these other things in its ecosystem, right? Solana Deepin, Mawari network raises, etc. It may be mean reversion time for Ethereum and Solana. You're getting some like Solana DeFi platform Mango market settles SEC charges, right? We're just getting a lot of different pieces of news about news. I don't know what news is, but we're getting a lot of different pieces of news about these different projects and companies that have launched on Solana, and that's always a good sign because it means that the ecosystem is doing well. So overall, guys, a lot of bullishness. Fundamentally looking great, TVL wise, price wise looking great, a lot of bullish structures. News wise, things are looking really good at the moment, and so I do think that this is a great time for Solana. And overall, I mean, the fact that we're still at $150, $156, I think a 2x, 3x from here is still extremely possible. And so, of course, if you guys do enjoy these Solana catch-up videos where we're going over what's happening from a price perspective, news perspective, fundamental perspective, you can always let me know, guys, by subscribing to the channel. Don't forget, this is a brand new channel, less than 2 months old. We're aiming for 1,500 subscribers by November. So if you can help us out with that, that'd be amazing. And don't forget, if you do want to trade some Solana yourself, you can use my Margex link down in the description below. But of course, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I can't wait to catch up all with you next time. Peace out, everybody.